Right, so what's up guys? A couple of you wanted me to make a video showing you how I make patches, like that, like that. So I'm going to show you how to make the rancid one, just because it's quite a cool patch really. So I'm going to show you how to make stencils using acetate. Acetate is basically just plastic sheets. If you can't find acetate anywhere or you don't want to spend too much money because it can be quite expensive, you can use paper. Paper works as well, but this tends to be good for making stencils, and I make most of my stencils out of it. So basic things you're going to need. You're going to need just a fine liner just to draw the design out. Scissors, obviously. White paint, white acrylic paint. It doesn't matter what brand, just make sure it's acrylic. You might want to get some black paint as well, acrylic paint, just to touch up any mistakes. Masking tape or sellotape could work, but I prefer to use masking tape. If you go out and buy an old car sponge, a cheap car sponge, and just cut it up, or a dish sponge or something, and just cut it up into pieces like that. You can use a paintbrush as well. I did used to use a cheap paintbrush, but it breaks them, so at least with these you can kind of wash them out and reuse them or whatever, and it tends to look better. You're going to need a crafting knife. You can pick these up, I guess you can pick them up online, you can pick them in art shops, I'm sure a lot of DIY shops as well you'll be able to pick them up from. You can also use a box knife if that's the only thing you've got lying around. I did, when I first started making patches, I did cut things out with that. It was a bit difficult to soak this quite big blade, but that's what you've got and you can use that. You're also going to want a surface that you don't mind getting paint on. And also, if you have a surface you don't want to have cut marks in, just a small little cutting mat like that. I think I got this from an art shop with a set of crafting knives, so there's this with crafting knives with it. I think it was about £12.99. So yeah, if you don't want to damage your table, just get one of those as well. You don't have to, but it has been useful and it saved many tables. So and also you just want to get some fabric. It can be denim from an old pair of jeans, an old t-shirt, anything really, anything that works for you. I buy this kind of thin polyester fabric only because it's quite a flat surface, so I find the paint doesn't run down the ridges like it would in, say, denim or something, but it's personal opinion. So that's what I get. You don't have to go and buy it. I just didn't have any old clothes lying around that I wanted to cut up. So yeah, I'm going to get into showing you how to make stencil now. So I'm having to film this on my laptop because my phone is not playing ball. Right. Basically, what you want to do is you just want to draw out your design. I've just quickly, really roughly drawn this up. But you want to draw up your design on your acetate using a fine liner, and you then just basically want to get your crafting knife and just follow the lines until you've cut it out and it looks something like that. Sorry, this is all backwards, but I'll try and flip it, but if not, you get the idea. So you just want to cut all that out, taking your time, because acetate can be a bit of a pain to cut sometimes. Just take your time, just cut round all the lines. And also you'll notice on areas like the nose bits here, you have to have little bars of plastic just to hold them in place, because obviously if you cut through, those would no longer be there, unless you don't want to get paint on that area. So just bear in mind when you're making stencils that have an area which isn't attached to the area. That makes no sense, you know what I mean? But so like this, you have to have the bars there, because obviously this would be loose and yeah, not very good. So yeah, you just want to cut that out, and then you will end up with a stencil like that. The next step after you've done that is grabbing a square of your fabric and taping it down onto your surface with your masking tape or sellotape or whatever you can get a hold of. Also, I'm going to only roughly be sticking this down just for the sheer speed of it. I'm sure my laptop's making a horrible noise at the moment, but sorry about that. Fabric, yeah, let that down, and you want to take your stencil over it, so you just line it up like that, and you get more tape, and then you're just going to stick that down over the top. Try and keep it as flat as possible. So just like that. So you've got it like that. Next thing you want to do is get your paint and something like to put like a palette or something. I've just got this little tray which I use for painting, and that works well, but you can use an artist palette or an old bit of card or something, or whatever you have lying around, just as long as you don't mind getting paint in it. You want to grab your sponge, and you just want to dab into the paint a little bit like that, and then dab on a clean area just so you spread the paint around on the sponge. And then you basically just want to start off gently, just going over it like that, not pushing too hard. The reason you dab the sponge in the paint like that is so you don't have too much paint on the sponge. Because if you have too much paint on the sponge and then you start really aggressively trying to push the paint down, it will force it under the edges, and then you get, I don't know if I've got an example to do somewhere, having a grass sticks patch. No, I don't. Anyway, but it will bleed under the edges, and it just doesn't look too neat. So just slowly, just do thin layers of paint and wait for it to dry, and then go back and do another layer, and then wait for that to dry, and then go back and do another layer, and it should be fine. Just making sure not to push the paint under the edges. Just want to make sure there's a nice thin layer. You also, with stencils like this, obviously there's a lot of flimsy bits. You just want to make sure that they don't flip up when you bend it when you dab down again, because that's a pain. So just, yeah, take your time with it. Your first couple of patches might not come out too neat, but it's not the end of the world. You get better at it. My first couple of patches were atrocious. They were honestly the messiest things ever. I've still got a few on these trousers actually. I might show you up close in a bit. But yeah, it was pretty bad. But you just practice makes perfect. You just keep at it, and don't get too disheartened when it doesn't work out. Right, so basically got the first layer of paint down there. Honestly, a really thin layer. I mean, obviously this has started to dry here, so it looks even thinner. But you literally just want to do layers of paint like that. Just wait for that to dry, and you go over it again. I'd say I'd probably go over my patches probably about 3 or 4 times. And then in the end, you will end up with that one, and obviously the one on my leg there. So yeah, just take your time with it. Like I said, you can also make your stencils out of paper. That does work as well. It's just be warned, that obviously paper is a lot more flimsy than acetate is. So a stencil like this, you would use it once and it would tend to curl, the edges like here would curl up and you wouldn't be able to use it again. So it's a bit of a pain if the patch doesn't work out the way you want it to. So then you've got to go and make another stencil, and this does take quite a bit of time to cut out if you're doing it carefully. So if you can get hold of acetate, that's great, do that, but if paper's the only thing you've got on you, that's fine as well. Things like this black flag one here, I mean that's no problem making that on with paper. So yeah, I hope that helped some people out. If you have any more questions, just send me an ask or whatever. And yeah, just have fun with it. Just don't get too disheartened if it doesn't work. Just keep at it, keep practicing, and you'll get fantastic at it in no time. I also want to say thank you to everybody that's been saying they really like my patches, because that means a lot. So yeah, this is an old patch here. You can't really see. No, basically it's just really worn, it's almost gone a bit purple and there's like grey bits, so it's not the best patch, but I can't be bothered to take it off and remake it. So yeah, anyway, thanks guys.